Today on Inquirer, National Bureau of Investigation files murder complaints against suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves. Teves denies claims of his impending return to the Philippines. Amid fears over the Chinese ownership of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, President Bongbong Marcos says government will reclaim control if necessary. And Denver Nuggets draw first blood after defeating the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Good evening. Suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves is now facing criminal complaints for the killing of Governor Roel Degamo and 9 others. Our justice reporter, Tech Torres Tupas, fills us in with the details live from the DOJ. Tech?
Neil, the National Bureau of Investigation has filed before the Department of Justice criminal complaints against Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla said the complaint filed is with regards to Teves for now. He said the investigation is still ongoing for other cases and other suspects, roles, and other crimes, he said. The complaint is for multiple murder, multiple frustrated, and multiple attempted murders for the death of Governor Roel Degamo and 9 others and injuring several others during the March 4 attack, now known as the Pamplona Massacre. The DOJ have yet to release a copy of the complaint, though an earlier resolution indicting Teves, former aide Marvin Miranda, claimed there were 2 prior attempts to assassinate Degamo in December 2022 and February 2023 using a sniper rifle and a rocket-propelled grenade launcher. Neil?
Tech, a complaint and an arrest warrant are 2 different things, right? So can we talk about the legal process here? What's next now that we have this criminal complaint against Congressman Teves?
Now that the NBI has filed a criminal complaint, the Department of Justice or the National Prosecution Service has created a panel of prosecutors that will conduct a preliminary investigation. During the preliminary investigation, Teves will be given an opportunity to file his counter affidavit, meaning he will give his side on the accusations and he will be given an opportunity to present his own evidence. And after that, the NBI or the complainant will again be given an opportunity to reply. And then only that time can the prosecutors evaluate if they will file the case in court or will dismiss the complaint.
And only when it reaches the court will there
Can
be
we
a decision
expect
whether
to
an
issue-
arrest warrant will be
Yeah.
released.
Yes.
Thanks, Tech. That's Tech Torres Tupas reporting live. Suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves denies claims that he will return to the Philippines, saying it is fake news. To tell us more, here's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. Jean?
Neil embattled Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. denied reports that he'll return to the Philippines. This came after Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla said that Teves is set to return to the country on Wednesday, adding that Teves is likely to be coming from Timor-Leste, where his request for asylum was denied. Teves said in a radio interview that they should have asked him before they spoke about his decisions. When asked whether or not he did seek asylum, Teves merely referred back to Remulla in jest. He's said to ask Remulla, as he probably knows better than Teves. To recall, the suspended representative is being tagged as the mastermind behind the assassination of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo and 9 others, which the congressman has repeatedly denied. The suspended lawmaker is now facing multiple murder complaints in connection with the Pamplona Massacre. That's it from me, Neil. Back to you.
That's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. 5 Filipinos are among 39 crew members missing after a Chinese fishing vessel capsized in the Indian Ocean, according to China's state media. State-run broadcaster CCTV says the vessel capsized at about 3 a.m. on Tuesday. 5 Filipinos, along with 17 Chinese and 17 Indonesian crew members, were on board the ship. According to CCTV, Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered all efforts be made to search for survivors. It adds that China's Maritime Search and Rescue Center has informed the relevant countries of the accident. The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs says the agency is aware of the incident and is closely monitoring the situation. Next on Inquirer today, President Bongbong Marcos says Philippine government will reclaim control of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines if necessary. NGCP says China ownership not a national security threat. And Denver Nuggets draw first blood after defeating the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. This Inquirer Today will be back shortly.
In a sari-sari store in Cebu City, a test paper is all you need to grab a snack. But not just any test paper could pass. A perfect score is required.
Ako po si Libby Gedoria, 56 years old, isang vendor.
Nanay Livy isn't just a mother at home, but also to the rest of her Suki students who frequent her store.
Makita ko na sa mga bata mamba nga na grabe ang ano nila sa akin, yung mga greetings nila every morning, na pagdating ko lang, good morning, Nay. Yeah. Mag-response naman ako, okay, kanang mag-aral kayo ng mabuti ha, mag-ano kayo sa teacher nyo, lesson kayo sa lesson ninyo. So naisip ko, ano kaya kung gumimik ako kasi napalapit na sila sa akin. Ina-motivate ko naman sila araw-araw na mag-aral. Naisipan ko na first nga makadala ng test paper for perfect score, bigyan ko ng snack. Pag-exam nila nung 19 and 20, inabihan ano na kami ng karatula. Pag 24, nag-checking sila ma'am. Sa takbuhan naman yung mga bata na nagdala-dala ng kanilang mga test paper na nakakuha ng perfect scores. Yung isang test paper, magpili lang sila. Kung turon lang yung ang makuha niya. Kung mag-ano siya ng juice, meron siyang kasamang nudlan or pulot. Hindi ko naman iniisip yung malugi ako ma'am kasi yung makatulong tayo sa kapwa. Magpasalamatan naman yun sa iba kung makatulong tayo sa kanila. Minsan merong magsabi na, nanay, pautang naman, bukas ko na lang bayaran. Wag na. Wag mo akong bayaran. Hanapin mo na lang ako kung magiging abogado ka na o magiging doktor ka na. Ibayad mong 5 peso mo sa akin kung maabogado ka na.
Nanay Livy's act of kindness has captured the hearts of people online.
Content lang po talaga ng post ko is appreciation po for my mama. Kasi po, na-admire ko po talaga yung ginawa niya for students. Kasi as an education and aspiring teacher, talagang effective po siya for students. Sabi ko na si mama hindi siya teacher, pero nagagawa niya yon. So, posible pala na kahit hindi ka teacher, mamomotivate mo yung anak mo na estudyante, mamomotivate mo yung mga estudyante na kahit hindi mo anak.
After Giselle's post went viral, Nanay Livy has a new challenge to the students in her area.
Sa ngayon, ma'am, may tumutulong naman sa amin kay Tunte. May dumating naman na tulong. So, may plano kami na mamigay na naman kasi distribution of cards and awardings of honor students. So, from 20, yung may challenge yung 20 ma'am, 20 students na perfect score. Pero ngayon, ito yung mga rewards sa mga honors. So, magbigay kami ng 250 na honor students. Yun lang ang makaya sa budget ma'am.
President Bongbong Marcos says the government would regain control over the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines if needed. This comes after Senator Raffy Tulfo informed the president of his intention to assess the performance of the NGCP and examine its security aspect. In a statement, the Presidential Communications Office says Marcos agrees with the senator's proposal and that the government will reclaim control of the entity if necessary. Tulfo earlier said he had warned Marcos how the Chinese ownership of the NGCP may pose a possible severe national security threat considering the current conflict between China and the Philippines over the West Philippine Sea. The senator also said he told the president of NGCP's violation of its franchise contract, such as its failure to follow timely development and connectivity in the primary grid of energy power in various provinces. NGCP is the country's energy grid systems operator. 60% of its capital stakes are Filipino-owned, while 40% is owned by the State Grid Corporation of China. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines maintains that the Chinese ownership of the country's energy transmission system is not a national security threat. During the Senate Energy Panel's inquiry into the country's power woes, Senator Raffy Tulfo asks NGCP Assistant Corporate Secretary Ronald Concepcion if the NGCP, being partly owned by a Chinese state-owned electric utility corporation, poses a national security threat. The State Grid Corporation of China currently has a 40% stake in the NGCP.
Do you agree na it poses a national security threat? Ito pong State Grid of China, 40% ang nagmamayari at ayon po sa Intel report na natanggap ko, remotely the National Grid of China, Chinese government, may makapag-access sa ating national grid. So pwede po tayong isabotahe just like what happened to Russia and Ukraine, lalo na po sa nangyari sigalo sa pagitan ng China at Philippines because of the West Philippine Sea.
That's not also correct, Mr. Chairman, because in the first place, like I said, only Filipinos are manning the substations.
Concepcion says former National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon even inspected the NGCP's headquarters and regional offices in 2020 to check if the State Grid Corporation of China indeed has remote access to the country's power grid. But Tulfo points out that Esperon did not check the facilities of the State Grid Corporation of China.
Verify niyo po mismo sa China, sa State Grid of China, na malinis at wala silang remote access. I wouldn't believe whatever you tell us na hindi possible yun. I will still believe na meron pong access remotely. Kaya po ng State Grid of China kung gugustuhin na isabotahe po yung ating national grid.
There's no such thing as 100% invulnerable cybersecurity system or system for that matter.
Definitely vulnerability. Yung presensya ng isang malaking share ng isang dayuhang bansa o state-owned enterprise nila which has not been friendly, which has been hostile to us, lalo na sa mga karagatan, Mr. Chair.
Proves the release of 15.1 billion pesos to construct almost 5,000 classrooms. The DBM says its Chief Secretary Amena Pangandaman approved on May 15 the release of funds for the classrooms, which will be built in at least 1,000 sites. According to Pangandaman, there is a need to build and repair classrooms in order to keep up with increasing enrollment in public schools. The DBM says the budget will cover the construction, replacement, and completion of kindergarten, elementary, and secondary school buildings and technical vocational laboratories. It will also cover site improvement as well as the installation or replacement of disability access facilities and the construction of water and sanitation facilities. A part of the budget will also be used for engineering and administrative overhead expenses. Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte earlier identified classroom shortage as the most urgent education issue and has committed to closing gaps in school infrastructure. The Denver Nuggets draw first blood after defeating the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Nikola Jokic, who had another triple-double with 34 points, 21 rebounds, and 14 assists, led the Nuggets in their 132-126 victory over the Lakers. Jamal Murray also scored 31 points for the Nuggets. Anthony Davis had 40 points and 10 rebounds, while LeBron James finished with 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists for the Lakers. Game 2 of the best-of-7 series will happen Thursday in Denver. Meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs secured the top pick in the NBA draft lottery, earning the right to draft Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama is considered the best NBA prospect since LeBron James went number 1 overall in 2003. This is the third time the Spurs have won the draft lottery. The Charlotte Hornets will select second, followed by the Portland Trail Blazers, Houston Rockets, and the Detroit Pistons. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Answered prayer kung ituring ni Matteo Guidicelli ang pagpirma niya ng kontrata sa GMA 7. Ayon kay Matteo, talagang ipinagdasal nila ng kanyang asawang si Sara Geronimo na sana'y makagawa siya ng magaganda at makabuluhang programa sa telebisyon. Medyo natagalan nga lang ang pagdating ng alok ng GMA Public Affairs kay Matteo, ngunit sabi ng aktor worth it naman ang kanilang paghihintay. Yes mga kamarites, nagsimula na nga last Monday si Matteo bilang co-host sa Kapuso Morning Show na unang hirit at super proud wifey naman si Sarah G sa bagong journey ng kanyang mister. Sabi nga ni Matteo, isa si Sarah sa mga taong mula pa noon ay nagsasabing bagay siya sa mga public affairs show kaya talagang masasabi niyang dream come true ang maging bahagi siya ng longest running morning program ng GMA. Inamin din ni Matteo na last year pa sana siya pipirma ng kontrata sa Kapuso Network pero hindi nga ito natuloy dahil sa ilang pangyayari na hindi nila kontrolado.
It did not take place yet last year because I think the timing was not the perfect timing. Sabi ko kanina umaga sa parang pag-ibig lang, good things happen to those who wait pa. So I'm very, very honored and blessed na GMA welcomed me here in GMA, especially into the public affairs team. Kasi sabi niya, love, bagay ka doon sa public affairs, sabi niya. Alam mo po, nung sumali po ako sa Army 4 years ago, sabi ko, sa lahat ng mga projects na gagawin ko po, pipiliin ko talaga ng matindi kong baga. Gusto ko yung projects po natin in the future will really represent the Filipino people and tell the stories of the Filipino.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks Neil!
Maraming salamat, Irvin, and these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.